Good morning, it's Kimberly. I'm here today to talk to you about the 20 traits of a great attitude. Sometimes, really, an attitude is what makes all the difference. So, what does it mean to have a great attitude? We're going to talk about that in just a minute. Let me share my screen with you, and we can go from here. Okay, let's see. Move this down here. Okay, 20 traits of a great attitude. Your attitude determines your altitude. So, how far you go is really going to be dependent upon your attitude. So, what does it mean to have a great attitude? Having a great attitude means approaching life with positivity, having resilience and an open mind. It's not about ignoring challenges, but really how you respond to them. So it's not what matters. It's not what happens to you that matters. It's how you respond to what happens to you that matters. A great attitude includes optimism, seeing possibilities instead of obstacles. It is like a growth mindset. We talk about that. You've probably heard that term. It's just really viewing your failures or things that didn't quite work out as an opportunity. It's one of your attitudes, one of the traits. Gratitude, appreciating what you have instead of focusing on what you lack. And in this world, it seems that a lot of people really focus on what we lack rather than being so thankful for what we have. Resilience, bouncing back from setbacks with determination, just really, picking yourself back up if things aren't working out. Having kindness and respect, treating others with empathy and encouragement, and rather than having a negative attitude. And having confidence, really believing in yourself and your ability to improve. So, having that confidence and being able to portray that to others is a really good trait of having a great attitude. And then action oriented thinking, like taking responsibility for your choices and seeking solutions. So, those things are all what it means to have a great attitude. It doesn't mean you're happy all the time. I mean, there are times when I'm not happy, but it does mean that you choose how to react to the situations in a way that aligns with your goals and values. So we've already talked a little bit about our goals and values, and really your attitude is going to make all the difference. So what are some things that people that you've been around that you can say have a great attitude? So on your worksheet, you're going to have a place for you to write down someone that you think displays a great attitude. Now, then on a, um, let's go to the next thing. Oops, that was the one I wanted. This one. So think of someone and what traits do they have when you think of them as having a great attitude? Take a couple of seconds and write that down. Now rate your attitude. So just do a little self-reflection as we go through these 20 traits. You're going to take a minute and reflect on the side of the line. You're going to have lines on your paper that shows you're smiling, um, and then just rate yourself from 1 to 5 on your attitude traits. Just be as honest as you can with yourself about your attitude. Now, there are 4 categories of traits. So I just kind of broke them down for you. So it's really easier to remember what those categories are because I'm going to go over 20 of those. So one of the categories is mindset. It's really how you think. The second category is actions. It's what you do. And the third category is resilience, how you react. And the last one is the impact. How do you influence others? So that would be a category of a great attitude. We're going to go over the mindset traits first. There are 6 of them in this category. The first one is smiling. So, how is that a a trait being smiling. Well, smiling doesn't only improve your own mood, but it also positively affects those around you. It fosters approachability and signals confidence and optimism as a term that you would write. So when you smile, other people are likely to engage in a smile back. You think about if you go into a restaurant and you have a server who is just grumpy and doesn't come at the table with a smile, that kind of puts you in a bad mood and you feel like you don't really want to tip that person because they didn't come with a great attitude. When you smile, people it sets a positive tone for interactions with you. So a great example is employees who maybe I was at a furniture store lately and the people didn't even greet me. So maybe you want to think about that. So you want to give your customers, so when you walk up or people come in, make sure you're smiling. And that is a great attitude, one of the attributes. Number two, seeing problems as opportunities, which is challenges equal growth. So instead of seeing uh, obstacles or setbacks as obstacles, you really want to see them as opportunities. So it's a chance for you to learn and grow. Every challenge is a stepping stone to success. For instance, let's say we make a mistake, we lose a listing, or something just doesn't quite happen. So just use it as a lesson rather than letting it frustrate you. Many successful people have turned failures into major successes simply by shifting their perspective. Number three, talk positive. Words shape reality. If you think about it, speaking positively creates a more optimistic mindset, and it encourages other people to do the same thing. If you think about when someone says, I can't do this, oh, it's too hard, I don't want to do that, it really sets a negative tone around you, and you pretty soon you start adopting the same thing. So rather than saying, I can't do it, it's too difficult, I'll just do it tomorrow, any of those things, but rather I'll find a way to do it. So talk positive, flip the narrative, and start bringing those positive conversations. Um, if you choose positive language, you build confidence and resilience. I mean, there's times that when I was a teacher, I could flip the negativity in the classroom just by saying, what choice did you make to put you in this situation? And how can we switch that around? So then I would come back with a solution and a positive way of how we could handle the situation. So really talking positive and removing yourself from those negative conversations. It gets really hard because there are a lot of people who come from the negative side of thinking. Number four, read books. Knowledge builds perspective. I can't stress this enough. I haven't usually, people they say read books and I read a lot of books. I don't read a lot of novels and things like that, but the kinds of books that I read are really talking about self-improvement and ways that I can improve my confidence, how I communicate with people. So those kind of books. So it really increases knowledge. It fuels you to continue on self-improvement. It strengthens your ability to maintain this great attitude. So I've got a lot of great books that I read. One that you could try is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. I've read that one a couple of times. Another one that kind of keeps you, I've got a boatload of books here behind me. There's Be Obsessed or Be Average. Sell or Be Sold. If you're not first, you're last. The 10X Rule. Let's see. That Gold by Brian Tracy. Crucial Conversations. Developing the Leader Within Me by John Maxwell. So there's just a lot of those kind of books. So reading the kind of books that really help you with self-improvement would be a great idea for those kinds of books for you to read. What examples of books have you read that you can share with each other? Fantastic. And if you have any books that you've read recently that really changed your perspective, your way of thinking, I would love to hear what title they are, who wrote the book, and I would love to take an opportunity to read it as well. I got a few of them yesterday in the coach up training, and I'll share those later at the end here. Number 5, focus on your potential, not just the past. So your past doesn't define your future. I had to say this a lot to my students. Just because your parents acted that way doesn't mean that you're going to act that way. So you can always change what you're going to be. Focus on your growth and what you're capable of achieving rather than dwelling on your past achievements or your past failures, or you're just really changing your mindset about your potential, really breaking it out and constantly looking ahead and setting new goals and improving on those selves. Now, here recently in Realty One Group Mountain Desert office, we created a vision board and we set ourselves up on all these goals. So hopefully reflecting and looking at those, marking off those targets on the bottom that we set up on our path to success. So really focus on your potential and be sure that even though it's on the vision board, doesn't mean that it's not fluid. It can change at any point. So if there's anything else you've thought of, or maybe there was a goal on there that you decided just wasn't quite as important as it had been, you can always change that. But just always remember, focus on your potential, not just the past. If you think about it, athletes that celebrate a success, they win the ring or they win the championship, they don't just celebrate their past victories. They train and train and train, and they welcome the next challenge so they can get better and better. Just like us as realtors, we need to do the same thing. We need to train and train and train every day and make sure we're focusing on our potential. The last mindset trait is focusing on goals because clarity drives motivation. Clearly defined goals provides direction and motivation. So it keeps you forward thinking. It prevents you from distractions and derailing your progress. Without goals, you're just kind of wandering in the forest. You don't really know. And I can't stress enough how important it is to rewrite your goals down every day and every night. So when you get up in the morning, it keeps you focused throughout the day. And then before you go to bed at night, because it helps you focus, you're thinking about that before you go to sleep. So when you wake up in the morning, you're already fresh, like, oh yeah, I've got this to do today. It's on my thing. So you just need to think of your goals as your own internal GPS. So it's getting you in the direction that you want to go. So that's why I really focused on those vision boards to be a path to the summit, so that we're reaching to the top, and we're not just driving aimlessly in the woods. So make sure you're focused on your goals. Write them every day, write them every night. Next set of traits is the action traits. Action traits are what you do. So action, how you're going to take that. So number 7 is you want to work a plan. We talked about this recently about being intentional. And I loved when Lynn was talking about being intentional was one of her goals, was because when you're intentional about something, it doesn't just happen. It happens because you were intentional to make it happen. It requires a structured and well thought out plan to make things happen. So if you want to get in shape, you wouldn't just randomly exercise. If you're saying my goal is to get in shape, you follow a specific plan. If your goal is to lose 50 pounds or 20 pounds, then you create a plan. You don't just magically lose the weight. If you want to be successful as a realtor, you have to be intentional about it and follow the structures that are in place for us to be successful realtors. It applies in personal growth. It applies in our career. It applies in business. Whatever you're doing, whatever sphere of life that you're working on, intentionality matters. So make sure that you're working your plan, and you'll go far. Number 8, characteristics of a positive attitude are also showing up early. Commitment shows value. If you arrive early, it demonstrates a commitment, or arrive when you say you're going to arrive. Be sure you're prepared and enthusiastic. And when you show up early, it shows that you really want to be there. You're the first one in the room, or at least you're committed to being success. You want to show up early and be enthusiastic. Those who show up early are the ones who seize unexpected opportunities, and it helps you build strong connections with people and gain valuable experiences. Number 9, stay late. Show up early, stay late, going the extra mile. That's one thing that I can say. It's not a problem for me. I stay up way too late working on these projects. I have all these goals. As you know, I created, when I put my vision board together, I have 5 big goals on there. And so I show up early for that, and I stay up late every day working on those things to make sure that I can reach my summit in all those spheres. It's not about overworking, but it's about demonstrating passion and reliability. So if you stay late, working on a contract, working on a close, working on training, maybe you want to train for 20 minutes in the morning and you want to train 20 minutes at night, staying late to get that done. There are many leaders in business that started by staying a little later and learning beyond what was required that's helped propel them to success. So staying late is an excellent trait. Number 10, I just kind of mentioned this a little bit ago, but train constantly. Lifelong learning fuels success. So you want to train constantly. It helps you improve. There's so much change in technology that you want to really focus on training. Look at how AI is so paramount to success these days and how easy it is to add things, but it takes a lot of time to learn how to use AI effectively in our business. But training about communicating with people, handling objections, building that confidence. So training on some area of your life at least daily. You want to have lifelong learning, developing those skills helps you adapt, helps you improve, helps you stay ahead in your field. Because if you just think, oh, I got it, I don't need to train anymore. I've been doing this for 20 years. I don't need training. I don't need coaching. But coaching is important, making sure that you're getting the refocusing on those things and training yourself again. You think about it, an NBA basketball player or an NFL player, they don't just train until they win the Super Bowl, but they train after the games, they train after their wins, they train all the time, and they have a coach all the time. So they are continuing to get better and better and better at their craft and their sport, just like we need to train and train to get better at our career as realtors. It can be training, can be attending workshops, taking online courses, learning from mentors. Continuous training separates you from people who take average action. So I always just say train constantly, do 10x actions, train more than you think is necessary, and you're going to be better and better. Taking high levels of action. So execution matters. That's something I was just talking about, using 10x actions. If you think this is going to be enough, do 10 times more. If you think that one email was enough, send out 10 more, making sure that you're taking high levels of action, really improving yourself and focusing on the things that matter. Many people have great ideas, but an idea is just an idea until it's on paper, until it's executed, until there's a result. So taking 10x actions is high levels of action. 10x actions matters because it's the difference between a dreamer and an achiever. So if there are things that you've thought, yeah, I can get to that, or you think you're taking enough action, but it's just not happening fast enough, really think about doing a high level of action and changing that to where you are really focused on that and you're applying 10 times more effort, and then you're going to get 10 times the results. The 12th one, staying busy. Busy not just by doing busy work, but production, like busy in productivity. So the more productive you are, the more opportunities you're going to have. So productive people stay engaged in meaningful tasks, not just busy work. And it helps move you toward your goal. So that's why when we were creating those vision boards, it was really important for us to put those milestones, those targets along the path to make sure that we are staying busy and productive to get to that big goal that's up on our summit. Don't want to waste time on unimportant distractions, sorting things, preparing your desk, straightening things up. I mean, you want to be busy on productive things that are important about using your time, learning more, training, getting better. You don't want to be overwhelmed about using your time. You want to use the use of your time, use your time wisely and efficiently. So staying busy that's leading to for you to get to your goal. I'm sure you can think of some things that lead you to distraction. Okay, next one. We're going to talk about the next section of traits, which is resilience traits. In this section, there are 5 resilience traits. 13, share the positive and cut out the negative. Surround yourself wisely. This one I think is the hardest. I mean, the one that we probably know we need the most. It is hard to remove yourself from friends or people that have that negative attitude, but honestly, they will be the ones that suck you into that negative environment. So cutting out negative people, even if it's family members, people who are constantly bringing you down, really surround yourself with positive people, people who share the same mindset that you have, that have are positive influences. You really want to eliminate those negative surroundings. I was telling a friend of mine the other day that I was just really going to have to change some of the friends I hang out with because they're negative Nancy's. They constantly come to the table with everything that's bad that's happening to them. Now I got to do this and I have to do that. And oh my goodness, how come you work so much? Why can't you just do this? Don't you have enough? And really removing yourself from those toxic environments. Really hang out with people who are focused on becoming the best they can be, where they really have found their true purpose, and surround yourself with that daily, because it's easy to fall back into old habits and old patterns when you keep yourself surrounded in those negative environments. It will definitely affect your mindset if you continue to surround yourself by that negative. If you constantly hear negative voices, it's going to affect your mindset. So you want to really be around positive, uplifting people. I found that in this 10X training, when becoming a 10X business coach and now working on Coach Up, that surrounding myself with all these positive, motivated people and all of the success I'm seeing them in and that we're sharing together is just crazy. Because when you see someone taking 10X actions, what does it make you want to do? You're like, well, if they can do that, I can do it. So it's easy to start cutting out that negative surroundings around you because you're wanting to be more successful. So it's a lot easier. I was teasing Steve one day. I'm like, man, we're just going to have to move. We got to go find some positive people. But really, not just remove yourself from the negative. If you can't bring them along with you, that's when it's time to make a change. But really share the positive and cut out the negative. It's very important. Another characteristic of a great attitude is people who they just don't quit. They have perseverance. They continue to push forward. And you'll find that in like athletes, they just don't quit. Success is really often requires just a lot of persistence. Those with great attitudes just keep pushing forward. Despite any setbacks, you're like, oh, well, that happened. Well, oh, well, let's move forward. Let's do the next thing. I was just thinking of a situation that happened to me here a while back. When I was living out in Kansas, my girls and I were getting ready to go to a movie in Greeley, Colorado. It was 2.5, 3 hours away. And it was a snowy, icy day, but we had reserved tickets for these great movie theater. And I was backing the car out of the garage, and I had an air compressor over on the right side of the passenger side. And I was so focused on missing that I wouldn't hit that air compressor that I ended up taking the mirror off of the driver's door. My girls were standing out thinking, oh my gosh, this is going to be bad because mom just took the mirror off the car. And I just got out of the car. I could have been pissed off. I could have been mad about it. It could have ruined my whole day. I just looked at it and said, well, that happened. We're not taking this car today. So put the car back in the garage, got in the other car, and we went and had an amazing day, minus all the snow and the ice and the slow roads and all that. But we had a great day. I cut out that negative and I just didn't quit. I persevered through that. And that's just kind of a tiny situation, but just persevere through all the negative. Currently, I've been working on, you guys know, I've been working on getting that book published. I have put that to KDP, Amazon Publishing 3 times now, and it's been rejected. So I'm on the 4th submit, actually the 3rd submit. So if this one gets rejected, I'll have to do it the 4th time. But I'm not going to quit. I have these 4 books that I'm trying to get published because I know that it's going to make a huge impact on students and kids and families to really get better at writing equations and using critical thinking skills. But perseverance equals results. So if you are a new agent, you're just getting started and it's tough. Being a realtor is difficult. There is so much to learn. So you have to train daily, but just don't quit. You have to persevere to get the results. Think about it. Thomas Edison, he failed thousands of times before he invented the light bulb. I bet you can think of 100 other people that have been rejected before they became before they became successful, because persistence mattered. It paid off. Okay, the next one. Number 15, refuse to take no for an answer. Stay persistent. Determination leads to breakthroughs. Can't say that enough. Just don't take no for an answer. Even when people say no to you, doesn't mean no forever. If they've been talking with you about it, it probably means they just aren't ready. So just be persistent about it. Just don't take no for an answer. Instead of accepting rejection, seek alternative path to reach your goal. So look for a different way through to see if it can happen. I don't know if you know this about J.K. Rowling, the one who wrote Harry Potter. She was rejected multiple times before she got her book published. Oh, I feel her. So, but just don't take no for an answer. Figure out how to make it happen. Find the right person that's going to be right for you, and just don't take no for an answer. If the first person hangs up on you or isn't quite ready, just plant the seed and come back to them. Just don't take no for an answer. Eventually, something will probably happen there. Number 16, don't complain. Energy goes where focus flows. I can't say that enough. Just don't complain about it. I could have complained about knocking that mirror off my car. I could have complained about the book not getting published. I could have just said, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. But just find yourself a way through. Complaining just focuses on the problems rather than the solutions. So you need to shift your mindset and really think about ways to improve your situation instead of complaining about it. I can remember I lost my dad about 6 years ago, and he was suffering through cancer and everything. And the one thing that sticks in my mind that my mom would always say, he never complained. My dad was in a lot of pain, but he never complained about it. He just knew that, it wasn't going to change anything. So why focus on that? I'm going to keep a positive mindset, and this is going to happen this way. So leaders don't dwell on problems. So think of any leader that's dwelt on a problem. They don't really dwell on those. They find a way through, and they don't complain about it. They just look for solutions. A lot of people that you're going to be, that's part of that, cutting out the negative. So cutting out the negative people, and don't complain. Just find a way to be positive rather than complaining about it. Number 17, be grateful. Gratitude breeds success. So practice gratitude, practicing gratitude on the regular basis daily. It will really change your perspective and helps you appreciate what you have. So rather than focusing on what you don't have, being grateful for something helps you focus on what you do have. And it fosters positivity and resilience. It also is a great way to develop positive habits. To dwell on to really focus on these 20 traits of a great attitude, being grateful for things, when someone does something nice for you, be grateful for it. Let them know how grateful you are. because when you're feeling grateful and feeling positive in that way, and focusing on the good things around you, that really helps you um, focus and come off with your a great attitude. The next section are of the 20 traits of a great attitude are the impact traits. There are 3 of them in this category. These will be our last 3. Number 18, motivate others, inspire those around you. I love that we're getting together and training together, because seeing what you're doing and knowing you're writing your goals and knowing that seeing your success really helps motivate me to continue to move forward as well. A great attitude isn't just personal. When you have your great attitude, it truly influences those other people around you. When we're talking about removing ourselves from negative situations and negative people, you can't motivate people when you come off negative. I can't stress that enough. Encouraging other people helps build a positive attitude and a motivated environment. That's why it's important to surround yourself with people, not to just stay in obscurity, but you want to be omnipresent, be there, motivate people around you. Leaders who inspire their teams create better results. I love that Carmen is here with us all the time, motivating us and giving us opportunities to focus on our goals and meet weekly. So you can do the same thing. I love these chat groups that we have that we've created. I like to pop in there occasionally and just say, hey, how's it going? Have you written your goals today? Make sure, because maybe that's the thing you're like, oh, dang it, I've been kind of lazy about that. I need to do that. So I want to motivate you, and you don't even know how much you inspire me. So by us getting together, it's very motivational to see you working hard and inspiring people in our office. I truly believe that Realty One Group Mountain Desert is the best place to be as far as real estate goes. And we're going to be the #1 agency. And we just need to keep working with each other and motivating each other to be the best that we can. Number 19, seek new challenges. Growth requires discomfort. So it keeps saying, step out of your comfort zone. Oh my goodness, that is so important. We've got to step out of our comfort zone because when you stay in it, it's comfortable. But growth requires discomfort. You got to get out there and say, oh, this is really hard. I went through all this training to get this 10X business coach, this certification of completion. And let me tell you, it was a lot of work and it was uncomfortable. And it's hard for me to see other people who are doing so well so fast, but it just motivates me to say, well, I've got this. I'm seeking new opportunities, and I'm growing and training daily and challenging myself to expand my own skills and strengthen myself to gain that confidence. If you have a hard time picking up the phone and talking to people, that's why it's important to get in groups together, because the more you say it out loud, the easier it becomes. If you sit in the back of the room and you never raise your hand, or you sit in the trainings and you don't implant yourself into it and open your mouth and contribute, you're going to stay in that comfort zone, but you're not going to grow beyond that. So you got to seek those new challenges. You've got to learn a new skill, even if it feels intimidating at first. I have my coaching business is a little on the not as far as it could be, because I was afraid of all this technology. It was difficult for me. I didn't know how to use these great tools that we have in our Realty One group, in my 10X business coach platform. On both of those platforms, there's so many things in there that I just don't know how to use, that it was intimidating to me. And I just didn't, it stopped me from growing. And I was just like, oh, it's just too much work. I just can't do it. I don't know how to do this. Canva is hard for me. I just want someone to do it for me. And so I'm sitting there telling myself it's too hard for me, instead of diving in and saying, you know what, it's going to be a little uncomfortable and it's going to take me a lot of time, but in the long run, it's going to be worth it. I just need to learn how to do it, get out of my comfort zone and learn. I'm sure you've had similar situations. You should write that down as you're going along, looking at your workbook. How are you rating yourself as we're going along? How are you rating yourself from 1 to 5? Which ones do you need improvement on? This is our last one. Number 20, trait of a great attitude is focusing on solutions and not focusing on our problems. Having that forward thinking mind of what is to be rather than what was. So if you complain, it's going to keep you stuck. If you're focusing on what problems you had, it's going to keep you stuck. But if you're really looking at it for focusing on solutions, you're going to develop a great positive attitude. Successful people look at problems and saying, well, how can I get around that? What can we do to fix this problem? And they're going to focus on the solution to get it done. This won't work, or how can, rather than saying this isn't going to work, instead of saying that, well, maybe that won't work, but how can we make it work? So we need to focus on those solutions. For me, it's training on technology, training on social media, because I'm terrible at social media. So as we wrap it up, you want to apply these traits daily. Apply and practice. So role play daily, say it out loud, just breeds confidence. So take a minute and write down on your workbook paper, you have which of these 3 traits do you want to improve? So from the 20, which ones did you rate yourself 1 to 5? Which ones are your best? And then really look at the ones the traits that you do really well. Which of those do you do really well? You can put the number, you can put number 1, number 5, number 7, whatever. But what trait do you do really well? Put a star on your paper when you were working those out. Which one of these 20 traits do you do very well? Then look at the next ones and which 3 traits, as you were rating yourself, as we were going through these 20 traits, which 3 of those do you want to improve? Now, take the challenge, the commitment challenge. Pick 5 traits and practice them for a week. So 5 of these traits, you had 3 that you wanted to improve on, but then take maybe 3 of those you want to improve on and maybe 2 of those that you do pretty well, and then practice those for a week. Which of these traits do you have? And then next time when we get together, we're going to share our progress in a future session. So 5 traits, practice them for a week, and come up with ways that you can actually do that and record them. Final thoughts? What are your key takeaways? A great attitude isn't automatic. It's built daily. You have to focus on your attitude, really keep it in the front of your mind. It could be maybe one of those things those goals that you write down in the morning and at night. Maybe one of them be, I'm going to focus on this trait. So that'll be your goal. You could say, my goal I'm not going to complain. Okay, I'm going to motivate others. Maybe this is a goal to help build your attitude, one of your great attitudes. Success is 80% attitude and 20% aptitude. So positivity can belong to anybody. It isn't something that you're born with, but you can create it. Just keep pushing forward. Everything that you do, just keep pushing forward. Okay. Now I have a commitment that I want you to take. I'm going to share a different screen. Try and push this stop share button here. Okay, I'm back. So I have another thing that I want to do with you, and it's going to be a commitment. So I'll share this screen instead. you see that? Oh, I have to share. Okay. Commitment. The same is true for just about everything in life. I want to go through this with you. Okay, I'm gonna bring this over here. Having some technical difficulties. Stop the share. Bring this over here. And share. Being kind of weird on me. Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. So this is something that when I was going through the coaching program that we did together, and I just want to go through this commitment with you. This commitment, true for just about everything in life. You don't get rest sleeping once. You need to repeat that sleep cycle every 24 hours. You're not going to get fat eating pizza just once, but you will get fat if you eat pizza every night. Number 3, you won't get rich making one sale, but you will get rich making sale after sale. Number 4, you won't form a great friendship in one day, but you will form a great friendship over time. Number 5, following up with a customer just once won't guarantee a sale, but following up with them over and over will lead to a sale. The examples are endless. There are so many things that we can do to make a commitment. Whether or not you want to get in the best shape in your life, or if you want to get 10x wealthy beyond anything that you've ever had before, or find the right person to spend the rest of your life with, just remember, nobody ever accomplishes anything doing something just once. Buddha says it's the confrontation between the stream and the rock. The stream always wins, not through strength, but through perseverance. The water flows over, under, and on the side 24/7, 365. It just keeps going and going. Be that running water and cover your goal today. 2 reasons people don't stay committed and persist. 1 is lack of knowledge. And 2, lack of practice or experience. If you don't know what you're doing, you're not going to like doing it. If you don't know how to get the right result from your effort, you're not going to continue on. Anytime there's a no, there's a lack of know, the KNOW, meaning you don't have the knowledge. So the first thing first, get the right knowledge. Second, apply knowledge in a practice setting. Practice before implementing. Find one football team that puts a play in the game without practicing. An MMA fighter that tries a new move in a match, or an actor that steps onto a stage without rehearsal. You won't. Same in business. You won't find successful people who haven't tried, who haven't practiced, who haven't applied their knowledge. Here's an example that I thought was cool. In 1519, Captain Hernan Cortez, when I was teaching social studies in 5th graders, this was one of the explorers that we studied. Well, he landed in Veracruz and he began his great conquest. Upon arriving, he gave the order to the shipmen to burn the ships so that his men would have to conquer or die. Imagine someone laughing, and Cortez promptly thrust his sword into the man's chest. So when you commit and you go all in, you have to do it with passion and with purpose. Ultimately, doing something that makes it impossible for you to change your mind or go back. in this situation. That is what I'm talking about, commitment. Once you've committed to these goals, you want to make sure that you are 100% committed. So I want you to take this pledge. One, I am committed to stop making excuses and just make it happen. I'm committed to staying focused on what I want. And I am committed to making my goals and dreams come true because of my actions. Those are your commitments. So stop making excuses, stay focused, get what you want, and commit to making your dreams and goals come true because of your actions. So, what does commitment mean to you? In your workbook that you have in front of you, I want you to take a second and write down. First, check off, are you committed? Yes or no? And what does commitment mean to you? Does it mean you're going to stay focused? Does it mean you're going to go all in? Or are you a little wavering on what that actually means? Okay, take a second and write all that down. For me, one of the things that I was so committed, I wasn't going to make excuses, and I wasn't going to continue to not move forward on publishing that book that I had been talking about and talking about. Great ideas are just ideas until you put it into action. So I decided to just make it happen. My mom was probably my biggest supporter, and like she's like, you got something here, people need this, you just need to move forward. And it's just such a daunting task. I don't know if you all know about this book, how much it is, but I had to write the book, and then with the book there are 7 different versions of games in there. Each game has its own score sheet, and each score sheet has its own format, and each game has its own rules. So I had to come up with and clarify all of that. Then when we get into the different section of the game, then it gets more complicated and you have to get mystery cards. So I had to create the mystery cards. And then the book also goes along with Shut the Box game. I had to find out who I can get to make these games and brand them to this book. So then I had to come up with the title, the author, and then all of the Facebook pages, the social media, the advertising, everything to make this project happen. But it's so important. The message that I have in this book is so important that I took a step back from my real estate business for a moment to get this done so that I could help change the world, help change students. You look at the news, and I was just listening to it last night. 80% of eighth graders are not proficient in math or reading. That's terrible. Fourth graders are proficient in reading, like only 14% or something. I can't remember the statistic. I was like, oh my goodness. And in mathematics, it's just as bad. Well, this book, this thing that I was doing as I was a teacher, really changed how kids can think about numbers. So I became committed to make it happen. I stopped making excuses about it, and I'm going to stay committed. So now on my summit, reaching the summit, I'm close to that one. Now I have 4 other paths on there that I have to focus on next. So it's going to be the 10x coaching, it's going to be the real estate, and there's just a lot of things that I have going on. But I am committed to all of them. I write my goals down every day. Are you writing your goals every day? What does commitment mean to you? Are you focused on you? Are you focused on what you want in your life? If not, it's up to you. Don't make those excuses anymore. So for you, if you were told to burn the ships, what would that look like in your life? If you burnt the ships of distraction and burn the ship of negativity and burn those things that keep you from reaching your goal, what does that look like in your life? I have had to change my circle of friends a bit just for that very reason. Apologize for the noise over here. Okay, hopefully you're writing that down. Give you a second. Next thing I want to focus on is Daily rituals and habits. 9, morning rituals for success. So this is how Grant does his thing. And I like to listen to Grant. He's a very motivated, very successful person. Now, once you've gone all in and committed to create success in your life, how do you schedule for success? We've been talking about this quite a bit. How do you adjust your schedule for success? What would be the first steps in creating your success schedule? There are 9 morning rituals for success that you want to implement. Maybe not all of 9 of these, maybe have other 9 that you would like to put in yours. Grant follows this schedule. Here's what he does. Wake up early. Start your day doing something that you don't want to do. Okay, for 30 minutes. Maybe it's exercising. Write down your goals and your dreams with a pen and paper. Only 5 minutes on that. They don't have to be lengthy goals, just enough to remind yourself what it is that you're going to be focusing on. Read a book. Highlight and take notes in your book. 20 minutes. I love the way Grant writes all his books because at the end of every chapter, there's an exercise. He'll say exercise, and then he'll ask you some questions about that chapter. And if you don't know it, you weren't listening hard. I've caught myself. I was focusing on other things as I was listening to the chapter. And then it's like, oh, I need to go back and listen to that again, or I'd go back and read that book, that section, and highlight it because it was important. It's in the exercise. Find books like that that help build you up and push you to personal development. Number 4, study and train. And the reading a book, you don't have to read a long time, just 20 minutes. Study and train. There are 6 segments. If you want to get started in Cardone U and you want to have something to train daily, I keep saying, oh, you need to train, you need to train. Maybe you don't know where to go. Cardone U is pretty inexpensive. And you could go in there and train daily. I try to train in there at least an hour a day because it's important that I get the training in. And then number 5, exercise. Move your body. I find myself sometimes I'm working on projects and trying to do contracts or whatever. I'll just get up and move around, take a 15-minute break, a 20-minute break, get some vigorous exercise in, maybe break a sweat a little bit, and then go back and keep working. So make sure you get your 20 to 30 minutes of exercise in a day. Listen to personal development in closing. So make sure that's part of your thing is listening to personal development. And make sure you have material in the product that you're looking at that you can, develop some sort of personal new habit or whatever. Hit the social sites and interact with people. Uh, the most like, share, network, whatever you like the most. Don't spend a lot of time on that, but make sure you're interacting and don't just click a like, but actually write a comment so that you're interacting with the people rather than just a passing scroll, scroll, scroll. But that way you're networking with people, commenting for them, and maybe they'll comment back and you can develop some relationships that way. Number 8, have sales meetings. I think it's important. We don't really do this, but just to motivate ourselves with a group, no negativity. Just say, how did you do? Like for me personally, in real estate right now, I've only closed 1 transaction so far. We're sitting in March, but like I said, I had to focus on getting that book done and published so that I could start creating some residual income. So that would give me some cash flow. And then I can focus on getting back into my love for real estate, which I love so much. But anyway, have sales meetings. I do that with my partner here in the 10X coaching, but also sales meeting for Math Flip Flap Frenzy, the book, talking about looking at how many people have gone to our ads, how many people have been to the store, how many people have put our products in their favorites, things like that. So 15 to 20 minutes on that sales meeting. If it's just with if you have a partner that you're working with, or if you're on your own, just always look at your numbers and looking at your numbers is really important. And then role play. I gave you all some scripts last time we were together to make sure that you're practicing those, making sure that you are getting good at the conversation. I had you write down the ways to interact with people. So listen, let me write this down. Please tell me I got that. Yeah, what else? Tell me more about that. Thanks for sharing. Oh, tell me everything. So if you're listening, what concerns do you have? And what else bothers you in this? Do you like what concerns do you have about this property? Do you have any other reason for not moving forward? Is there something that's holding you back? Do you have any other objections about this? If I could solve that one thing, would this be the perfect place for you? And always when you're talking with people, we talked about this last time, but just acknowledge them. You're right. I agree with you. I see that. I've been there myself. I feel the same way. I get it. Those kinds of things. And then just validate when they're giving you some concerns. It's not really objections that they're giving you. They're giving you complaints about something. So just say, yeah, I know you're going to have to think about that, but what is it that you have to think about? What is your real objection? What's your real concern? There's got to be something else that's causing you not to move forward today. What's really holding you back? And when you say that, what do you mean? I was in the training on Monday with Kathy Baker, and she was talking to these same things. It's just like really flipping the narrative, flipping what you're saying to someone. So why is having a daily plan vital to your attitude of success? Can write that out. And then why would you want to perform the same proven activities at the same time every day? Sometimes like your daily rituals, if you do it at the same time every day, you don't forget. It just becomes a habit, especially if it's a positive ritual that you want to do every day. And then how do you feel when you complete items on your checklist? Checklists are an important way to say, hey, I got that done. It's just like I'm getting so much better at my social media, getting better at building funnels and landing pages and all this stuff that I didn't even know what those words meant there for the longest time. Okay, the next section of that book we're going to do at another time. So, okay. Um, Hopefully you've enjoyed this workshop today. Sorry, I can't be there. I have to finish my coach up um, training, and it's right during our class today. So I wanted to make sure I got this video to you. And I'll have the worksheets in the office. So if you come into the office, I'm going to get this video turned into a YouTube link, YouTube, and I'll share the link so you can just watch this whenever you need to. And hopefully you're looking at these 20 traits of a great attitude and you've written down the three that you're the best at, the five that you need to work on, that you're going to focus on for the week, and let's continue to work together. I, it's not difficult to to send a text to each other, but it's really important for us to at least communicate regularly, focus on success. If you Everything that we put in the chat doesn't have to be about the success you're experiencing. It could also be based on the maybe the struggles that you're having, and maybe someone will have a solution or something they can share with you. And just by talking to someone, sometimes it just helps so much in having that positive person around you. I love talking with Audrey and Lynn and Maria and Carmen and all of you that come to the trainings because it helps me stay motivated. You will share something in the training that helps me refocus. I'm like, oh yeah, I never even thought about that. Such a great idea. So anyway, I hope that you've enjoyed the training today. And I will see you not next week because I will be at the 10X Growth Conference in Vegas from Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. It's going to be the biggest the biggest growth conference he's ever had with speakers from all over. I'm going to drop a link at the end of this as well. You can join the Growth Con virtually. So if you can't be in the room, I'm going to be in the room in the premier seats or somewhere up in there, and hanging out with people that are positive influencers. But get online. I'll share the link with you so that you can get it's an all day Wednesday, Thursday, Friday speakers. I don't even know who all is going to be on the stages, but it's never. He's had Donald Trump before. He's had Megyn Kelly. He's had um, Joe Rogan. He's had Dana White. I'm just trying to think of people that he's had on there. Just talks about the way that they have come from nothing and built up to being millionaires or successful businesses. So just be sure to check it out. I'll drop it in the link at the end so that you can all go to the Growth Con with me. And maybe I can share out with you. And if I know you're on there, I can share some things that are happening in the room with you at the same time. All right. See you on the flip.